If not, you can stay and listen to me go on a brief rant again. I've already mentioned some of the things I talked about earlier, but I'm gonna say a couple of predictions, long-term predictions, I think. So first of all, Microsoft leads the way in terms of, moving away their platform from console hardware to other hardware, PC, mobile, smart TVs and stuff, cloud, whatever. I think Microsoft's strategy is the right strategy. Now, the problem I have with that strategy is they sacrifice their current console install base to achieve that strategy. And that's where I have challenges. That's where I have issues. You don't sacrifice your current market to chase a phantom market that you're hoping will be there. No. The TAM of the cloud market is potentially huge, but we still don't know what the market is. The market has not shown to be strong. Maybe now with the RAM prices and hardware being expensive, people will move towards cloud. I don't know, but for now the market has not been established. So I still don't agree in leaving your current market and chasing a phantom install base. That's one. Two is, games matter. I think great lineup of games matter, and I think they still drive adoption. And you can't pull people in unless you're bringing games that matter. So we're still making the same kind of games and you're still trying to bring them to cloud. I don't think you're really going to get new audiences that way, because if the audience hasn't picked up the PlayStation or Xbox for those kind of games, I don't think they'll go to cloud for those kind of games as well. I just don't think so. I think the Next Playground has shown that if you really want to get new audiences, do something unique like the Next Playground, and you probably get new audiences and they will probably love playing the Next Playground. I'll be happy with it. The games are not super new or immersive, but I think that's just what you should be targeting in some way or form. I don't think the whole cloud thing will take off unless you have new experiences as well. But let's see. I said the market is not clear. There's no clarity on cloud market right now. The TAM is very finicky. Some may say, we have up to 1 billion possible players or whatnot. I don't know. I don't know how much TAM there is in cloud market right now, so I can't really speak too much on that. But what I do believe is PlayStation and Nintendo will gradually start shifting their platform off consoles if consoles continue to decline drastically. Get to a point where they say, okay, we need to move off consoles and we need to have an exit route. And the exit route is going to be cloud. It's going to be mobile. I think Sony slowly realizes that and is trying to move PlayStation off consoles gradually, but without affecting their current market. So they're pushing aggressively with their console market, but also saying, you know what, we can prepare for a future without PlayStation. So you've seen their cloud feature on the PS Portal. I believe in due time they'll scale that cloud feature to PC and mobile. They'll probably move those kind of features off the console eventually. They already can do it on PS Portal, they can do it elsewhere. I think they're going to use that to maybe have like a TV app. They'll have a TV app just like Microsoft and have things to move players off that console. Another controversial thing I think Sony will do is they'll have a PC store. Now, lots of people will say, oh, people have tried PC stores, EA, Activision, Epic is trying now, and Epic is not doing so well with it. Even Epic is even giving free games, and free games is not doing it. Blah 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 blah. I hear you. I get you, and I do agree largely. But the thing is, for me, I think one of the fruits of Project Amethyst that Sony and AMD are working together on is to have a way that you can carry your PC, your PlayStation 4, 5 library to PC. If they can pull that off, now I know the licensing agreements will be difficult because especially third-party developers would want you to shell out some money to be able to play their games on PC, which I think Sony will gladly do So if you have a PlayStation and want to move to PC, you can move to PC. Just pay a couple of monies to, you know, access download on your you know, PC. And if you want to stream your games that you already own, and you can just stream them to the PC. So I think if you don't want to download, you can stream it if you already own it. And if you want to download, you have to pay some money to download it. I think that will probably solve the problem for a lot more people. Now, some developers will agree, okay, let's make our game available on PC, but some will not, and I understand why. You know, licensing agreement is firm. I don't know what the licensing agreements are, but I think, you know, developers know that they sign license for console, it is for console. So PlayStation will probably slowly move their things to PC, slowly but surely move them to PC, and I think a store will probably achieve that. Now, it's not. Some will say it's not a good idea. I know it's a difficult thing to achieve, but I think that the only way you can compete with Steam is that you say you have the opportunity to take your library on PlayStation to PC. I think a lot of people would bite, and not everybody plays their old games. Where you say, okay, you have a $10 conversion fee to play your games on PC, you can get access to all the games you have on PS Plus. You can play them on PC as well. I think Sony will probably have a lot of people saying, you know what, yeah, maybe I want to go on PC instead of buying the next PS5 or PS6 or PS7, whatever. PlayStation, you know, some PC owners will say, you know what, maybe I should just, you know, I can have the PlayStation store as well. Nothing stops me from having two stores. If PlayStation can nail the PC store experience and make it as good as PlayStation's, you know, UI, controller support, headset support, everything, if they can mirror everything to be done well enough, I think Steam can be given a run for their money. I think, yes, Steam probably will still be the winner. Sony does not need to be the winner there, but it just helps Sony ensure that they can capture the value of their games day one on PC. If they decide to do day and date on PC, they can capture the value of their games day one, and they don't need to do much beyond that. Sony can even throw a bone that say, okay, you don't get your third-party games, but if you bought any PlayStation game on PC, Steam, or on PlayStation, you get those games for free on PC. Sony can even try that strategy out. Sony can try out different things to ensure that, you know, they move some of their audience is over to PC. So I don't know how they'll do that, but I think in the long run, that is the way it should be. So I think Nick says, even though people have been saying, rumors have been coming out that Sony is pulling back on PC. I did say that last year that Sony will have to reevaluate their PC strategy, especially because Xbox is now coming out with a PC. They're going to have to reevaluate their PC strategy. They're going to have to say, do we really want to be putting out so many games on PC? End of the day, Sony is not a software publisher. Sony is a platform holder, and platform holders' business is to create viable platforms for third-party developers to publish, or create viable platforms for them to sell their first-party games like Nintendo, and for some third-party developers to be successful. Whichever way you think about it, you have to have a viable platform, and putting games on PC does not serve that purpose. People won't like to argue, but you have to choose one. You can't eat your cake and have it. You can't say you want to be publishing everywhere and making as much money from your software publishing, and also want to have a viable platform that third parties are putting their games on. Because, you know, what are you telling third parties? Are you telling them, you know, PC is the viable platform, and, you know, even your own platform is not viable enough for your own games? That's the idea I'm getting here. You know, you're saying your platform is not viable enough for your own games, and that is a bad look for me as someone. I'm really interested in how brands think. I think that's a very wrong brand image to send. That your platform is not viable enough for your own games. So why should platforms put their games on your platform as well? Because you're a platform holder. It's like Apple making a game and Apple putting it on Android. Why? You know, this is not. You know, I don't know. I just thinking that this is not a service. This is a platform game, and you have to have certain things to draw in people to your platform. Oh no, yeah, even Apple does things like Apple puts Apple Music on Android and on other things. So yeah, you can say that in the end of the day you can do that, but I think you have to be careful what image you are sending to your partners in terms of, you know, publishing on PC. And I think they just reevaluate. I don't think they'll stop putting games on PC. I don't think so. That ship has sailed. A lot of games have probably been lined up to come to PC already. They'll probably still put out live service games on PC day one, no doubt about that. And they probably still bring out some old single player games on PC. But I think they'll probably just dial their back slightly and just a couple of games here and there, not everything. No more 6 months or whatever they did last year. Even Death Stranding took more than 6 months to come out, didn't it? Yeah, so end of the day, Nintendo doesn't do what Sony does. Nintendo puts their games only on their platform. So if Nintendo can do it, Sony can also do it as well. They may not be as successful as Nintendo, but they don't need to be. They have more third-party sales than Nintendo. You can't eat your cake and have it, so you have to pick one. So I think the downside is Sony will probably downsize in their developer counts and just have a couple of ones that will continue to publish high quality games on a regular basis, just like Nintendo. So even though Nintendo is expanding, Nintendo is not expanding as massively as Sony did in the last couple of years. The Bungie, you know, Haven Studios, Fire Sprites or Firewalk, whatever, you know, so many studios being bought up and down. I think Sony will probably downsize and keep a handful of studios, and Nintendo will probably have the core developers, the ones in their 2 development buildings, and a couple of other developers in the US and outside of, you know, Japan, and they will use that to, you know, drive platforms, and hopefully third party comes in to fill in the gap. But Nintendo, you know, Nintendo takes about 50-60% of the sales on Nintendo's software, so it makes sense that they'll probably want to publish more games. They publish a lot of games already. Sony doesn't do that, and Sony doesn't want to be that, so Sony will probably just look for core developers to help use it to push their franchises. I think you spend more money on selling the consoles rather than spend too much money on making games. That's my opinion, but let's see how it works out for them. So once again, thank you if you enjoyed my long rant here. This is the end of the video. Stay tuned for March for more videos. Thank you very much.